This is Steve Garland, head wrestling coach at the University of Virginia, doing my weekly video newsletter for Tuesday, November 5th. Tons of stuff to talk about. We just had our first competition weekend last weekend. It was awesome, and I'm going to get into all that, but before we get into that, I just want to make sure we are very clear on something. I missed the time changes for the hokey duels this weekend. I just caught it yesterday. They moved up weigh-ins. There was an NCAA thing going on where they had to do the weigh-ins for the open component and the duels component at the same time. So weigh-ins will be at 8 a.m., wrestling will start at 9 a.m. So again, our duels will be 9 a.m., VMI, 11 a.m., Wisconsin, and 1 p.m., Kent State. 9 a.m., 11 a.m., 1 p.m. Those are the time changes. I want to make sure that you guys are all aware of that. We're going to post it on our website, and it'll be in the newsletter that I'm sending, the email newsletter I'm sending out as well, but I want to make sure we're clear on that. Now to the weekend. First thing, I just want to say thank you for the crowd. Thank you for the fans, family, friends that came out. One of the cool things that I've seen over the years is just not just the number of people in the seats, but the support and the passion of the people in the seats. Meaning, I mean, we're wrestling Anderson College at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, the same day as a football game, and we get a fall at 125 at Will Mason, and the place goes nuts. I mean, people weren't just there, sitting there. They were engaged, they were excited, they were fired up. So I just want to thank you guys so much. Special thanks to Dean Groves, who was sitting in the front row of the first dual meet, and all the other people that come, and Jim Harshaw, who's he works with Virginia Athletics Foundation. He's running around working, but he finds a way to get in there and see our matches. And Valerie Richardson, our boss, my associate athletic director, who's frankly doesn't need to be there, and she finds a way to get there and stay for all the matches. And all the parents who traveled far and wide to come, and all the friends of the program. I just can't thank you enough. So quickly, I want to make sure that I go through the Anderson match because there was a lot of new faces. We had 9 out of 10 guys that you might not know of or might not have seen the lineup in the past that were in there representing us. So I want to make sure I highlight these young guys that are going to be around for a long time for us. Will Mason won by fall. Emilio Martinez won by fall. Justin Van Hoos won by decision. Chris Yankovic won by fall. Dustin Romer, Greg Batchy, James Suvak. And then some of these guys you've already seen and know, Pat Gillen and Ethan Hayes, but these other guys, they just, it was really neat to see them in our singlet, to see the look on Emilio Martinez's face as he came around the corner, how happy he was to represent Virginia. It just was an awesome thing, and unfortunately, Anderson didn't have a 97-pounder show up, so they had to forfeit to Pat Gillen, but Ethan Hayes got a fall as well at heavyweight. He looked awesome. So I think the highlight of that match, though, is Greg Batchy coming from behind. He was down 5-0 in the first 30 seconds, came all the way back, ends up winning in overtime, I believe it was, or right at the end of regulation. So just so proud of Greg. Now to the other 2 matches, we were able to win impressively against Gardner-Webb in West Virginia. Really proud of our guys because, look, I know Daniel Elliott well. He does a great job with Gardner-Webb, and he's got a lot of guys that he's recruited and developed. And so to see not just the score, but the way our guys competed, I was happy with. In West Virginia, it's funny, I looked at their roster. A lot of their kids I either home visited or recruited in some fashion on official visits, and I knew a lot of their guys. I mean, Bubba Scheffel at 74 was the #1 guy in the country coming out. Colin Johnson at 141 was a 2-time state champ, I believe, in Pennsylvania. And just, the list goes on and on from there. So Jason Luster was the #1 kid in the country at his weight coming out, who Nick Solzer beat. So they had a lot of depth of talent in their lineup. So I was really impressed with what our guys were able to do. Some of the highlights from that match: Nick Herman, Blaze Butler, and Zach Nye. Again, these might be new faces for some of you. Nick Herman's a redshirt freshman from Texas. Nick is just, we call him the Rattler, and if you would have saw him wrestle, he wrestled a really tough kid with Corey Stainbrook and found a way to pick him apart and win 9-4. Blaze Butler had 2 falls on the day. Really impressed with Blaze. Keep an eye on that kid, I'm telling you. He's got a tremendous upside. And Zach Nye won by technical fall and by major decision. And the kid Zach major decisioned from West Virginia was a high school national champ, I believe, in high school. So, again, pretty darn good. The old reliables, Stephen Doty had 3 wins on the day, 2 falls, and a gutty win against Scheffel. Gus Sako, 2 falls. Nick Solzer did great. Joe Spicak's another guy I want to highlight. I think him and Blaze were the MVPs of the weekend. Spicak took on Colin Johnson, who's a total stud, and I believe he tech-falled him. Yeah, he tech-falled him 16-0. I mean, golly, you tech-fall anybody, it's impressive. More or less a state champ from Pennsylvania. So I was really impressed with Joe and the way he competed, and again, Blaze Butler. So This weekend, again, we have the Hokie Duels, number 8 Wisconsin. Kent State's absolutely tough. Make no mistake, that's going to be a war as well. We got a lot of things that we're working on, but we're in good shape, and please just keep supporting us and keep telling everybody, literally everybody and their sister and brother and friend and neighbor about the Virginia Tech match, November 24th, John Paul Jones Arena.